hashtag at least we got a point.
Yeah, I guess silver linings, right? Are we back to morale points now?
I mean, at this point, honestly, without Quinn Hughes in the lineup and with the way that Detroit's been playing lately, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think if Quinn Hughes is in the lineup, I think we win that game because we controlled the majority of the offense of that game. We just couldn't really. We got goalied 2 games in a row, really, and you don't expect it against Alex Lyon. You expect it more against Jake Ottinger, but it was a really good effort from the guys. I saw a lot of good things out there. Really like Hedel battling through and getting that tying goal in the third. Something that we've struggled to do this season is come back in the third and push for a win. And we had a couple of close chances in overtime. Not much you can say other than we went for the win, missed, and Red Wings capitalized on their odd man rush coming back the other way. So close to getting to a shootout, but got a much needed 1 point. Would have been nice to get the second point, but some good stuff to build on with the new guys in the lineup moving forward here. I'm curious to see. Ketel's kind of my my test.
Yeah.
I've been on the fence about the coaching this year. And if we see his style of play start to change and him stop skating the puck in with control and setting up and getting offensive chances, I'm going to be 100% on the fire talk it train. Just pre-warning everyone.
I mean, Hedel, I think we talked about this in the first intermission, was I gave him an up, down, and a down. And it was a good play out of the corner, which drove to the front of the net. It was a delay on a pass to Garland, which could have been a good one-timer. And then it was, what was the down, the straight down? I can't remember what it was. But the
one he just threw out into the middle of the ice there.
He pulled the JT Miller and he threw it right into the slot in the Canucks zone. And
yeah.
I'm like, now I'm starting to really think Hedel is just like, he's young JT Miller. Like, absolutely. I mean, probably a little less physical, but you talked about him carrying the puck in the zone, and I do like that. But there was a moment where you saw him carry the puck in the zone and probably carried it just slightly too long, where he got through the first group of guys and then maybe should make a pass, but then loses the puck on the other side and then manages to score the game tying goal, which is great. But then in that overtime, he stopped skating. He stopped skating coming back.
Well,
and that's typical JT Miller, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that's so. One thing I didn't bring up is when I talked about Hedel's skating metrics. He's below the 50th percentile for stamina, which is not good. O'Connor is like way high. He's like 85th percentile for stamina. But Hedel's stamina is one of his big problems that he needs to work on as a young player. He's got tons of speed, but he gets gassed really fast when he uses it. And we saw that in overtime there. One heavy rush up the ice, gets kind of set up in their end and had nothing left to come back.
I mean, we got to get him to go up the grass grind with the Sedins a couple times, I guess.
Yep. And I will give him a little pass on the first game. Had to travel, get used to the new team, skated this morning with the new guys. There's also the time change, everything jet lag. So, there is that. He looked gassed on that play. So, given the emotion that he had when he scored that goal, it's probably the most emotion we've seen a Canucks player have after scoring a goal at home in a while. It was really nice to see him try and get some energy into the building, and I can't really say that he didn't want to get back on that last one. I just don't think he had the gas.
Yeah, true enough. Did show some really good hands on that goal, because I mean, it's one of those things they talk about stick handling in a phone booth, and that's about as much as you can make an example of that one. And he did it and got a really good shot, putting that I'm calling it everyone's favorite shot in the NHL, just above the pads, just below the blocker, and he put it right there and tied the game up. So even though I wasn't happy with his effort getting back, he still is the only reason that they were in overtime. So it's his overtime to lose.
Yeah. No, and yes, I saw the effort coming back, and the first thing I thought of was the metric diagram that I saw and him being below in that stamina category. So hopefully that's something the coaches can work with him on. And also, the more minutes he plays, the more stamina you gain. So he hasn't played a high role in New York, and so having some elevated minutes today playing as a second line center likely tired him out a little more than he's used to. So we will see how he does in the coming weeks, but lots of positive, lots more positive than negative from the new guys tonight.
Yeah. Not a new guy, but first night back in the lineup, Kiefer Sherwood. What did you think about his performance for his first game back?
Oh, great performance. It was a big part of the forecheck to generate the goal in the first. Set the new record for hits in a season for a Vancouver Canuck player. Out there just picking up right where he left off, being a pest, trying to do everything he can to get the game tied there in the third. That line looked like that line. He looks like he's really gonna enjoy playing with Drew O'Connor. They have a similar style. They both like to kind of bang and crash and mix it up and sort of get under the other team's skin. And they both have some offensive talent. So I'm excited to see what they can do with Suter going forward here as well.
And then I guess you mentioned it, his line mate Drew O'Connor, first game as a Vancouver Canuck. What did you think about his performance this evening?
Not bad. He didn't make any major mistakes. He got in there hard on the forecheck, was getting the puck loose in the corners and doing the right things and playing the right style of hockey for now. And yeah, no, I didn't notice anything bad. I didn't notice anything that stood out as great. I liked what I saw, and we'll have to keep a close eye on these guys as we see them in more and more games here in the future.
Well, the other thing I was impressed about with Elias Pettersson, our centerman, it's gonna take a while. Face-off wise, obviously it's going to be big for him to come in and do some really good things in the face-off because he has had some really good stretches, but there has also been some games where he's been awful in the draw. Tonight he actually comes out, does really well. Overall, the Canucks were great, but Elias Pettersson ends up with almost 65% on the face-off dot tonight, which is good to see against the Detroit team that does tend to be a little bit better than the Canucks are in the face-off dot. That's got to be a good sign moving forward post JT Miller, right?
Absolutely. He won a couple so clean tonight. They came right out of the zone. So, very good things to see. Like he said in his interview, he wants the pressure, and he's going to be under the microscope here for the next couple of weeks for sure. The pressure's going to be on, and he's going to have to change his game in a hurry and find that elite level that we know he has in the tank somewhere. But he's going to have to dig deep and find it fast because that top line is now the top line. There's no 1A and 1B anymore. Like those are the guys, and those three gotta get it going. Besser looked a little lost out there tonight. He was shooting a lot of the times he should have been passing and passing when he should have been shooting. Something we don't typically see out of Besser.
Yeah.
However, lots of changes, lots of emotions, lots of different stuff going through all these guys' minds. So hopefully after this game now, they've got that first game with the new guys under their belt. They can start to kind of build some chemistry tomorrow at maybe an actual like full team practice. They can maybe get everyone out there, work together on the power play and things, especially we don't know how long Hughes is going to be out. Hoping he's just day to day with whatever this lower body ailment is, but uh, we're going to need the coaches to work with some of these guys and not that the power play was an issue tonight because the refs decided to make up their own rules and not call interference or tripping or pretty much any infraction that the Red Wings committed against the Canucks tonight.
I feel like it was one of those nights where they just let them play, which is not a great idea because it leads to boring, clutchy, grabby hockey. Only one power play awarded to either team this entire night. How do you go through a whole game like that with only calling one power play for either team?
That's a tough one, man. I don't know, especially when some of them are just like straight up egregious penalties. The interference on Pettersson late in the third there, where Sider just skated straight into his lane and body checked him, and he had not had the puck, nor was the puck coming to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you let those go when the interference call that you called in this game against Forbert in the first period was borderline incidental
Yeah.
contact and a guy already falling down. So
Yeah.
it's pretty frustrating in games like this when you have no idea what is going to be a penalty and what isn't. And this is the frustration that I have is I don't mind the occasional missed call, but from night to night when it feels like each reffing team has a different rule book, it's got to frustrate the heck out of the players and the coaches and even like the odds makers. It's got to make them crazy. Like there's no consistency at all. And it's really starting to become a problem league wide. And I think this year of all years has been worse. And a lot of the young refs seem to be the main culprits.
I think a part of that is just the way the game is being played the last couple of years too, right? Where it's so fast. Like it's hard. There's a reason there's only a certain amount of people who make the NHL because you have to be able to read the play and react to the play and know what's going on all around you. These refs might just be struggling to keep up with the pace of hockey these days, eh?
Yeah. And, having two refs out there was supposed to help with some of that. But I think there needs to be more structure to the reffing system. Like, I don't know how the two ref system works in the NHL or at all really, because when I was officiating minor hockey, there was just one referee and two linesmen, and the referee did all the penalty work up and down the ice. The linesman did the icing on offsides. However, to me, if I were to have a second set of eyes out there when I was officiating, I would want someone to watch specific parts of the ice when I'm watching the puck and the play.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like too often both officials get caught watching the puck. And there's a lot of stuff that happens away from the puck that gets missed. And that's where I start to get frustrated. And it's like, okay, well, if they're set up in the offensive zone, the official at center ice should only be responsible for calling penalties from the top of the circles out
Yeah.
or from the front of the net or a different section or a quadrant. And then the official down low is responsible for, net front or the actual play of the puck. Just different setups like that, I think, would help curb some of these missed calls
Mm-hmm.
that seem to happen either close to the play or after the puck has just left. Um, I don't know if that's something maybe that needs to change throughout the league, but there's definitely been a lot more missed penalties or changed criteria for calling a penalty lately,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the league and the GMs kind of need to sit down together and figure out where they go forward from here because a lot more teams are starting to be vocal about it when the reffing is getting pretty bad.
The only new player we didn't talk about so far was Marcus Pettersson, looking pretty solid back there already. Looks like he's going to have the moves. Solid two-way guy. What did you see from his game tonight?
Yeah, just exactly comes as advertised, right? Like all we need, the two-way defenseman, very calm with the puck. He's going to get it out of the zone and onto the stick of the forwards pretty much every time. And not really going to gamble very often. He's going to read the play and make the right choice defensively 9 times out of 10. So it was really good stuff to see. And also DPD had a great night tonight,
Mm-hmm.
really starting to show some poise and calmness with the puck when it's on his stick in the defensive zone as well. No rushing. He's taking a second to gain control and take a look and find the right play. And he is growing very quickly as a NHL defenseman. Love to see it.
3 stars of the night. Do you have any idea what they called?
Oh, let's see here. Um, they probably gave one to Alex Lyon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got the third star,
Uh,
so you got that one.
and then obviously Alex DeBrincat would probably be first star
Yeah,
of the game
2 goals,
tonight.
first star.
And then it's hard to say who that middle star is. I'd maybe give it to Sherwood. Just like if I'm a local media guy, I'm going to give it to Sherwood because he had an assist and then he set the record for the hits for the Canucks. So how'd I do?
You got close. Yeah, you got close. The second star actually ends up being Hedel with the game tying
Ah,
goal,
yeah.
which is a fair one too.
Cop
First
out.
night in his
Cop
new
out.
arena. Yeah, close enough, right?
Easy way out.
I mean, the fact that you called two Detroit players is impressive too, because obviously the Canucks seem to carry the play for most of that, but weren't able to get as many goals as they expected to with the amount of shots they got on net.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Lyon played a very good game, and obviously DeBrincat with 2 goals and the OT winner. So
we mentioned we're going to talk about the Abbey Canucks. We were talking about them during the last game, but when we finished up, the Canucks were down 2-0 after 2 periods against the Calgary Wranglers on Friday night. Can you tell us how they finished things up on Friday?
So on Friday they ended up dropping that one 5-1 to the Calgary Wranglers, who are first place in the Pacific Division in the AHL. So no real like panic there in the sense of we got smoked. Abbey didn't really seem ready for this one in the first period. It was kind of all Calgary for pretty much the first half of the game. Um, Abbotsford was able to get a power play goal in the second period to make it 3-1 and try to cut into it, but the Wranglers just wouldn't let up on Friday night, getting up 4-1 in the third period about halfway through, and then just adding an empty netter to seal it 5-1. The loss going to Shilovs, who let 4 goals in on that one, and I think I said the lone goal scored was Arshdeep Baines for the Canucks there on the Friday night.
Yeah.
However, in better news, they were able to bounce back 24 hours later and hand the Wranglers a 5-1 loss of their own. So they were able to split this series right down the middle. So they actually got out to a 1-0 deficit in this one first. Calgary got on the board first in this one, but Atu Ratu was able to tie it up before the end of the period with a nice feed from Niels Oban and Arshdeep Baines working hard to help set that one up as well. And then into the second period, it was all Abbotsford in the second, getting 3 goals in the second period, one from Baines, one from Dino Cambites, and one Max Sasson, making his return to the Abbey Canucks after his stint up with the big club. So his was on the power play. And then Kudryatsev would add an empty netter late in the third to make it 5-1 because Calgary couldn't battle back in this one. Really strong performance from Tolopilo in goal, stopping 27 of 28 shots against. The first star in this one. A good weekend from Baines. It was nice to see him kind of break out and find some of that scoring touch again. He's been kind of pushed down the lineup a bit as more of a defensive grinder guy, kind of like a third line, but had a really strong weekend in Abbotsford, so that's good to see.
Thinking Kudryatsev might want to look at a career in curling after that empty net goal.
Yeah. I think everyone in the arena was blowing in that direction, trying to help the puck across. Eh?
If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out on the Abbey Canucks post all their highlights on their YouTube page. But man, like just to describe it, like picture standing pretty much on the hash marks in his own zone. He actually banks it off the boards. The puck goes down the ice and then ends up on end and curves like probably like 10 feet in and goes into that. It was the greatest empty net goal that I've ever seen.
Like
yeah. Everyone on one side of the arena is jumping down the ground trying to turn the arena so it goes down that way. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so really good to bounce back against the first place team there. Much needed 2 points to stay kind of where they're at in the standings. They're holding on to a playoff spot right now. They were climbing after that long winning streak, and hopefully they can get back on one after the 2-day All-Star game festivities that are happening right now in the AHL. I believe the skills competition was tonight, and the game goes tomorrow. I think the game will be televised on TSN, I believe. And so if you guys want to check that out, Ty Mueller has been selected as Elias Pettersson's replacement to represent the Abbotsford Canucks at the All-Star game this year. So He was involved in the skills competition earlier. There's some clips of it online on X and on the Abbey Canucks page. So if you want to check that out, go for it. And then tomorrow the game will be on. So our big Canucks won't be playing. So if you need something to do, check that out tomorrow night.
Two-game road trip down to Colorado to play the Eagles for a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday night. What do we know about the Eagles? I think they're a little bit up in the standings from the Canucks, aren't they?
I think they're one above us, so they're 5 points ahead of us. So a big important series here. They could really make up some ground here in playoff positioning. So hopefully they can go down to Colorado and take 2 games and come back home with some better standing.
You got February 7th, February 8th, 6:05 and 6:05, both are the start times down in Colorado. Vancouver Canucks back to the big club after an overtime loss. Hashtag at least we got a point. We've got the Colorado Avalanche coming to town on Tuesday night, also being rocked by a big trade, losing the heart of their team. What do you expect to see from a Colorado Avalanche team against the Canucks team that also had a bit of a shakeup?
Still a lot of speed, a big team. You got McKinnon, obviously, and then you got Makar on the back end. So we always love to see Hughes go toe to toe with Makar. So hopefully Quinn's able to get back into that game. If not, it's going to be tough. We got to neutralize their rush. They got quite a bit of speed, but now the Canucks are showing more speed than they have all season, which could counteract the Colorado Avalanche a little more effectively.
Pettersson, Elias Pettersson tends to play very well against the Colorado Avalanche as well. So it'd be interesting to see if he can get his line going. DeBrusk has kind of been floating lately. I think he's in one of his down periods because he's tended to be a very streaky player over the years. So he's kind of feels like he's due for an outbreak, and maybe that will happen against the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday.
Oh, we need to hope. We need to get some stuff going here.
Yeah, it should be interesting. The Canucks will probably do a practice tomorrow for Monday, maybe an optional. We'll see what happens. Maybe some of the new guys just getting out doing some stuff with the coaches. Should be interesting to see because obviously Hughes was out game to game. Soucy was out. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping, I think you're on the same page as me. I'm hoping they keep DPD in the lineup.
I hope so as well. And I hope next game we maybe get to see Mancini into the lineup with his size. I did do some digging. I did find that Soucy was a healthy scratch tonight. He was not injured, so that was a coaching decision to keep him in the lineup or keep him out of the lineup tonight. So I'm not sure what's going on there, how he ended up being the odd man out, but no injury for Soucy. So we'll have to keep our eye on that situation.
Dustin, are you telling me that
they don't shoot the messenger?
They had Juleson in the lineup instead of Soucy because they like Juleson more than Soucy.
You know how I feel about Tocchet's coaching.
Oh my goodness, that is a head shaker. Okay. I'm all hot and bothered all of a sudden.
He's made some questionable decisions all year when it comes to the lineup. So we'll see who we have out there on the blue line on Tuesday night against Colorado, but hopefully it's not Juleson.
Any last words for chat before I let you go?
Thanks for stopping by as always. Love reading the comments and really enjoy hanging out with all you guys. So at least we got a point, and there's some positive things with these new guys. Let's keep our chin up and look forward to the Avalanche on Tuesday.
Awesome. We'll talk to you on Tuesday during the first intermission, Dustin.
Sounds good.
Nothing is perfect.